Unfortunately, we won't be able to live stream this evening. We are recording, however, and Rabbi Singer will post the service at a later time. We'll begin with Yeti Nefesh, Cantor Lori. Thank you, Cantor Lori. I can tell by the smile that that is your heart's delight, doing what you love to do. Ruchim Habayim, welcome. It's a blessing for us to have you join us as Erev evening Shabbat service. Delighted to share Temple Bethel's virtual Bima this evening with Cantor Lori Rimlin Bond. Cantor Lori, could you share with us a little bit about you? I know that you came to us by recommendation from Cantor at Congregation Emmanuel in Redlands through Rabbi, and here we are. So if you could tell us just whatever you're comfortable sharing.
I would be happy to. Thank you, Randy. It is an honor to be here with you this evening. I started my career way back in the 70s, in 1978. I was one of the first women conservative cantors on the pulpit at the time. I'm a pioneer in my field. And I have had the honor of working in many wonderful communities and congregations, conservative and reform. And I am currently the education director at Temple Beth Israel of Highland Park in Eagle Rock.
Thank you so very much. Appreciate you sharing that. In this week's Torah portion, oh my goodness. Did that come across really badly? The Israelites receive instructions regarding Passover. They journey from Sinai and complain to God on several occasions. This will be the first of many, and that provoked God's anger. Miriam and Aharon speak against Moses. With that, I'm going to ask if you could take about a minute for silent reflection as we make the transition from getting here to being here. With gratitude, we gaze upon the screen of Israel, thankful that there is, at this moment, relative peace in Israel. Alden Sullivan shares the following entitled Shabbat Settles on Jerusalem. Shabbat settles on Jerusalem like a dove gliding on silent wings. Shabbat settles in my heart, a lover with open arms, embracing my soul with song, wrapped in quiet breathing. I send blessings into the world, illumination, nourishment, prayers of peace. At this time, Teresa will lead us in the candle blessing.
Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
And Harvey.
He's muted.
And he's been.
Randy, are you on mute?
I am, thank you. Teresa, we appreciate you leading us in the candle blessing, and Harvey Kurland will lead us in the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kadsho v'ahava uratzon kin kalanu zikaron lemase v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh zecher letziot mitzrayim kivanu v'chata yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha v'ahava uratzon kinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh hashabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
Thank you, Harvey. Is that the first time that you've led the Kiddush since
Yes.
we're struggling with COVID? Yeah, COVID Kiddush. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
This week's Torah portion, Numbers chapter 10a reads, "And on your joyous occasions, your fixed festivals and new moon days, you shall sound the trumpets over your burnt offerings and your sacrifices of well-being. They shall be a reminder of you before your God. Adonai is your God." Carol Johnson will lead us in a prayer entitled An Opening Ceremony from the Torah, a Women's Commentary.
Like the moon, we shed our layers, leave them at the door. We who caretake life, we who are healers, we who are doers, we who mother the world. The moon now glides toward shadows, toward rest. She retreats in order to emerge whole. She quiets in order to fill the night with illumination. So too shall we make a space for ourselves, a space of renewal, so we who nourish life can emerge as a moon, bearing our brilliance, our touch, to aid in repairing the world.
Toda Rabah, Carol. Chadodi, Craig Taubman's version, will be led by Cantor Lori.
Lecha lecha dodi, likra likra kala, pene pene Shabbat likabala. Lecha lecha dodi, likra likra kala, pene pene Shabbat likabala. La 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 lecha lecha dodi, likra likra kala, pene pene Shabbat likabala. Lecha lecha dodi, likra likra kala. Pene Shabbat Kabbalah. Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad. Ishmi'anu ha'miyuchad. Adonai echad, Yishmo echad. L'shem multiferet beliti la 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 lecha lecha dodi. Likrat likrat kala. Kenei Shabbat Kabbalah. Lecha lecha dodi. Likrat likrat kala. Penei Shabbat Kabbalah. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha. Ki makor ha'beracha. Merosh mikedem nesucha. Sof ma'aseh b'machshavatechi. La 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 lecha lecha dodi. Likrat likrat kala. Penei Shabbat Kabbalah. Lecha lecha dodi. Likrat likrat kala. Penei Shabbat Kabbalah. Boi b'shalom ateret bala. Gam b'simcha u'b'tzahala. Toch emunei am segula. Boi chala lecha lecha dodi. Likrat likrat kala. Penei Shabbat Kabbalah. Lecha lecha dodi. Likrat likrat kala. Penei Shabbat Kabbalah.
Welcoming the Sabbath bride. And prepare in our hearts to acknowledge that there are ministering angels among us. Peace to you, O ministering angels. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ochem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zeidchem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Half Kaddish. Chatzi Kaddish will be also led by Cantor Lori.
Yikadal v'yikadash Shemei Rabbah. Matikrachutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayei chon v'yomei chon. Uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, b'zman ekari. Deimeru, amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach. Le'alam l'olamei hadmaya. Yitbarach, Yitbarach. מתפאר מתרומם מתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו. לילה מכל ברכתה בשירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
If we were in person, I'd ask you to rise as you're able, but I'm going to ask you at this time to please rise in your spirit for the Baruch Hu, the call to worship.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
That was so upbeat. It reminds me of when we used to go to the skating rink and they'd say all skate, and there was just an enthusiasm of the music. So thank you, Cantor Lori, for bringing
Pleasure.
all to worship. From the Siddur, Sha'ar Zahav, Still Small Voice. In 1 Kings chapter 19, the prophet Elijah seeks God at Mount Horeb. Elijah beholds a great wind, but God is not in the wind. Then he experiences a great earthquake, but God is not in the earthquake. Then he witnesses a great fire, but God is not in the fire. At last the prophet hears a still small voice. In the still small voice is God. Continue with Ariv Aravim. I'm going to ask if you could join me, muted though, as we share this together as we welcome the evening. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, chochma poteach she'arim, uvitana mishane itim, u'mechalif et hazmanim, u'mesaver et ha'kochavim, mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono. Ro'ei yom halayla, olel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Ma'avir yom u'mevi layla, u'mavdil bein yom u'bein layla, Adonai tzva'ot shemo. Chai v'chayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. Shabbat olam, eternal love.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amach ahavta, Amach ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, u'kimu mishpati, otan
messing with the screen, I looked up and I can't.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
Shema, watchword of our faith. We continue with Hafta, led by Carol Lee. You shall love.
I hope everybody joins in. Muted, of course. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha
Not when I'm,
v'hayu ha'dvarim
look away from the screen.
asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha V'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha
All I can hear are like the
v'beitecha u'vlechtecha v'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'od al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beinenecha u'chtavtam Al mezuzot beitecha ubisharecha Laman tiskaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'Elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeti etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'Elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem.
Thank you, Carol Lee.
Oh, my pleasure.
We are aware of the echo and we apologize for that. Unfortunately, Ryan is about 10 feet from me. And if he,
I don't have my mic on, so someone else is in here.
okay, if anyone beside Brian who can't mute because he's needing to hear this, if y'all could make sure that you are muted, that'd be great. If it continues to sound like we're in a echo chamber, you know, welcome to Pandemic 101. We continue with Micha Mocha, who is like you.
And Hemar kifad Adonai Yaakov Gelo meyad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Kai Yisrael.
Ashkevenu will be in Hebrew beginning, followed by an English rendition, and completed with the Hebrew. Ashkevenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, Hamidenu shomrenu lechayim. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter, into the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Our Lord will continue with Ushmor Tzetein.
Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
Shamru. Children of Israel shall keep Shabbat. Beginning.
Yom Hashvi, Shabbat vaynafash, Shabbat vaynafash, Shabbat vaynafash. Bnei Yisrael, et HaShabbat, asod et HaShabbat, לדורותם ברית עולם.
You can rise into your spirit, the tefillah, the standing prayers, also known as the Amidah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון. מלך חסדים הטובים, וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו ואהבם. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. ולגבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממיד ומחיה ומצמיח ישועם, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יכלוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. And we encourage you to be attuned to the meditations of your hearts, your minds, and your souls for a few minutes of silent reflection. Cantor Lori will lead us in Ose Shalom, bringer of peace.
Shalom Bimroma, Kuyase Shalom Aleinu, Beyal Kol Yisrael, Beyal Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Beimru, Imru, Amen.
At this time, I'm going to ask if you could remain muted, but if you could put in the chat names of those that you're thinking about who are in need of healing, body, mind, or spirit. As I share a prayer from Alden Solovey, Refuat Hanef. God of the spirit, God of the soul, the breath and the wind, look with kindness and favor upon the names listed in the chat box, as well as these names that have been brought before our community. Jonathan Davidson, Ben Henderson, Kara Gilman, Rabbi Steve Robbins, Gloria Mangis, Steve Lux, Leslie Ferris, Pamela Mangis, Johnny Sikat, Dennis Boylan, Irene Schurman, Roberta Gershon, Bill Oppenheim, Juan Morial, Sid Love, Kim Coe, Alex Poveda, Raul Camacho, Jack Melman, Jimmy Murphy. As God gazes upon these individuals with kindness and favor, whose hearts ache, crushed and fallow, whose hearts yearn, empty and broken. God of the Nefesh, Ruach, and Neshama, guide these souls back to wonder and mystery, sacred moments and glorious days, so that they know the power of your love and the wisdom of your word. May their souls shine illumination and blessing for our people, Israel. And together we say, Amen.
Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, ויברך וירפא את החולים. Sarah Hashem Veleya, Vivarech V'yirapen et HaCholim.
Thank you, Cantor Lori. All the names shared in the chat box represent an individual that is near and dear to the hearts of those who've listed. May they receive the healing. And let us say, Amen. Great. Cantor Lori, my apologies for not doing the correct slides for the correct version of that song. Ryan says, I don't have those words. Like that's my fault. So I want to, yes. Morris and his wife, Esther, went to the state fair every year. And every year Morris would say, Esther, I'd like to ride in that helicopter. Esther always replies, I know, Morris, but that helicopter ride is $50. And $50 is $50. One year, Esther and Morris went to the fair and Morris pleaded, Esther, I'm 85 years old. If I don't ride the helicopter, I might never get another chance. Esther explained, Morris, that helicopter is $50 and $50 is $50. The pilot overheard the couple and said, folks, I'll make you a deal. I'll take both of you for a ride. If you can stay quiet for the entire ride and not say a word, I won't charge you. But if you say one word, it's $50. Morris and Esther agreed and they went up. And the pilot did all kinds of fancy maneuvers. Not a word was heard. He did his daredevil tricks over and over again, but still not a peep. When they landed, the pilot turned to Morris and said, by golly, I did everything I could to get you to yell out, but you didn't say anything. I'm impressed. Morris replied, well, to tell you the truth, I almost said something when Esther fell out, but you know, $50 is $50. This week, Parashah means in your lighting. This part of the Midbar, also in Numbers, recounts the start of the journey from Mount Sinai toward the Promised Land. The first section of this week's portion is centered on the tabernacle, the rituals that are associated with it, special laws regarding the Levitical priests who serve, and laws about the Pesach or Passover offering. One of the Mishkan tabernacle, once it's built, the cloud hovers over it by day and appears as fire by night. The second section gives instructions for the Israelites traveling in the wilderness. And finally, the third section portrays the frustration of some who began to challenge Moses' authority. They complained during the first part of their journey, and as a consequence, they are punished. The people also kvetch bitterly about the absence of meat. So God provides the Israelites with quail enough to make them feel sick to their stomachs. But careful what you wish for. Moses is really upset by their behavior. He doesn't know what he's going to do to continue to lead the group of moaners and groaners. God tells Moses to gather the elders of the people and impart some of the prophetic spirit on the people. Moshe's authority is then challenged by two of the new elders and even by his own two siblings. Miriam and Aharon grumble against Moses being married to a Cushite Ethiopian woman. The two also declared that God speaks through them also. As a result, Miriam is afflicted with the white scales of leprosy. Moshe offers the Hebrew Bible's shortest prayer on her behalf. El na rafan Allah. God, please heal her. According to the Torah Women's Commentary, there's more to the incident with Miriam's leprosy. The story shows how much all of Israel valued Miriam. Both of her brothers speak up for her. Aaron pleads with Moses, and Moses prays to God to reverse his sister's punishment. Yet the people don't abandon Miriam, the sole target of God's anger. This does beg the question as to why Miriam was punished, but Aaron was not. Israelites did not march until Miriam was returned to the people 7 days later. They showed their solidarity with Miriam, the woman who led them in song and celebration across the sea. Reverently, the people waited as she gathered her things and took her place at the head of the line. Rabbi Patricia Carlin Newman shares these thoughts about the words spoken by Moses. She writes in a caretaker's prayer, writings may be familiar to some. El Na Rafan Allah, 5 words, 11 Hebrew letters, are all that Moshe speaks. Except for God's name, El, each word ends in a vowel. Na, Rafana, La. It's as if each word was an unrelenting cry. Every word is emphasized with an exclamation point, giving voice to the helplessness of the one uttering the words, God, please, heal, please, her. The rabbi maintains when illness, accident, or injury come to those we love, it is up to us, those who are comparatively healthy and able, not only to plead, but also to provide hope and healing. The compassion Moses expresses for Miriam in the words El Na Rafan Allah are echoed in the rabbi's manual. The prayer reads, heal them, God, and they shall be healed. Grant them a perfect healing from all their afflictions. May God, who blessed our ancestors, bless and heal you. May the Holy One restore you to health and vigor, granting you a Ruach Shlema, a complete recovery. Miriam took her rightful place with her brothers in leading the Israelites as they began their wanderings through the desert. She could have just as easily followed the people or marched alongside them. Her value was not questioned. Who depends on you to take up the lead? Who is supported when you follow closely behind? Who is validated when you journey alongside them? Is it a parent, a spouse, a child, a pet, neighbor, a coworker, a garden, a stranger, a project, or a cause? Our sense of personal and communal importance and responsibility may have felt diminished during the past year of the pandemic. We have questioned our efficacy, sometimes our sanity, and our resiliency. You matter. You have value. Someone is counting on you, like Miriam, to show you care in palpable ways. We may not have a cloud by day, or fire by night, or trumpets to guide us, yet we do have an internal nudging, prompting us to help, to embody holiness in our world. The book Talking to God by Rabbi Naomi Levy helps narrow our focus. She writes, God, show me how to move beyond myself to help those in need. Give me strength to overcome fear, insecurity, and uncertainty. Teach me how to change in appropriate ways. Help me devote my time to realizing all the potential that lies within me. Let me learn and grow and bless this world. Remind me, O God, that grace, the deepest beauty of all, emanates from my soul and the souls around me. Amen. It is time for announcements, so I'm going to ask Carolee if she could share about the upcoming Walks and Bagel Brunch.
Right, thank you. Yes, we are going to have a Lox and Bagel brunch. I'm sure you all know this by now. It's going to be outside. It's the first time in a year and a half that we have all, excuse me, gotten together in person. It will be, we'll have different tables, and most everybody is vaccinated. So if you have a number of people, 6 to 8 people that you want to sit with, let me know and I'll make what's called a pod. Anyway, it's on the 6th of June. That's not this Sunday, but next Sunday. And we are taking reservations. The reservations and the invitation, you have to tell us what you want to eat because of COVID, though COVID is mostly over, still because of COVID, we're going to do it in a way that keeps the movement down. So you don't have to move around. We'll bring you your food. Anyway, for those who want to, and please come, because it's going to be really nice. We're taking reservations through the 2nd of June so that we know what to buy. So everybody, please, the invitation is online. It's really, I even did it. So if I can do it, you guys can do it. And you choose what you want to eat. Everybody's, so far, we're doing really well. A lot of people are coming. And there are 2 sessions. You can either come from 10 to 11:30 or 11:30 to 1. And we're going to have a sort of raffle, but it's better than a raffle. We'll have nice things that we are going to sort of raffle off. You know, we had an auction, which we couldn't do this year. So we're going to try this. There's you buy tickets, raffle tickets, and you put the ticket in front of what you want to win if you win, and put your telephone number on it, and whoever wins it at the very end of everything will call you, so you don't have to be there. Any questions? Don't all speak at once.
Carol
Yeah.
Lee. Where is it on the website to sign up? Because you may have figured it out, but I
Oh,
feel like a dunderhead.
well, today they were supposed to have put it back on just an email, just a Temple Bethel email, not even
okay.
on the website.
Okay.
So it'll say Lox and Bagel Brunch, Bagel and Lox Brunch, and it is on. It's because, frankly, I have trouble finding the emails because all of a sudden I seem to be getting a lot of emails from other places. So Andrea sent out another email today with the invitation and all the instructions.
Oh, thank
and
you.
if you can't find it, call me back.
Don't worry. I'm not going to miss this.
Yeah, we'll figure it out together.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? This is a big thing every year, everybody. It's the only thing that the junior youth group uses to raise money. Everybody works. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun for the workers, a lot of fun for the people who are eating. And it'll be nice to all get together again after all this time spending in the house and online. Not that the online hasn't been bad, actually. This is really nice, but it would be nice to see you all in person.
Shirley,
Yes.
are you going to have gluten-free bagels? And if so, how do I
Yes,
mark
there
them?
will be gluten-free bagels.
Okay, and how do I mark it on the order form?
I think it says.
Okay.
It says
I'll look
gluten-free
again then.
bagels on because I saw it on the order form.
Thank you.
Oh, that reminds me. We will not have tea, but we will have hot water. Roz Jones asked me this. So if you want tea, bring your own tea bag. It was because we couldn't have all these different teas that everybody wants. So we have the hot water. Anything else? Okay, please come. Please come.
Thank you, Caroline.
And all the people from Portland, the Gordons, you can come too.
All right. Are there any other announcements? I don't have any that the office has shared with me. So if there are no other announcements, we're awfully pleased that folks are joining us. A number of families from Oregon area and local. So we are delighted to have you with us. Amy, has your birthday occurred already?
It did
Okay.
Wednesday.
Okay. All right. I wanted
Yes.
to make sure I didn't fail to acknowledge that. I know that we've already done birthdays for the month of May. If you were not here, we certainly wish you Yom Holedet Sameach, a year of beauty and blessing and grace as you go forward. Is your school year over?
Yes, same day. It was a
That's
great,
right. I do
great
remember that.
birthday gift, especially
Yeah.
this year, my friends, everybody.
Oh,
This was a rough year.
I can't imagine I can't imagine a week, let alone a whole year or longer on, yeah, as a student, uh, yeah, I totally get that. So between meetings and appointments and everything else, yeah, I don't know about, we call it, what do they call it? It's not Zoomophobia. It's Zoom's, it's like a disease. Like you're just so tired of Zoom, you can hardly stand it. But fortunately, we have this forum, and we are delighted.
Randy, call it Zoomitis.
Zoomitis. Okay, all right.
And Amy's having a bat mitzvah soon, everybody.
Amy, can you tell us a little bit about that since I'm putting you on the spot?
Yeah,
Carolina?
sure, sure. Yeah, no problem.
I'll talk about it if you don't.
It's fine. Friday, June 11th, in this virtual space, it will be. So I invite you all. You'll get the link as usual. So I'd love to have everybody there.
What
It's
is
a
your
mixture of,
I'm
it's
sorry.
Korach.
All
Korach.
right.
So
Okay.
yeah.
That'll be interesting.
So there we go. Thanks.
All righty. Well, let's continue with the Aleinu. If we were in person, I'd ask you to rise. And since we're not, I'm going to ask you to rise as you were able. Let us now pray.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומשה יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגבי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו לעינו, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, ידעת היום להשם אותה אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת, אין עוד ונאמר היה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
In the midst of the joy of Shabbat, recognize that this is Memorial Day weekend. You remember the fallen. You honor their service. I share the following prayer from Alden Soloway, entitled To the Soldier, to the Veteran. These things I do not know. The sound of a bullet, the power of a blast, the blood of a comrade, the depth of your wound, the terror at midnight, the dread at dawn, your fear or your pain. These things I know. The sound of your honor, the power of your courage, the blood of your wound, the depth of your strength, the terror that binds you, the dread that remains, your dignity and your valor. For these things we pray, the sound of your laughter, the power of your voice, the blood of your yearning, the depth of your healing, the joy that frees you, the hope that remains, your wholeness and your love. Eileen and I will be reading the names of those who have died and are Jewish veterans. And as we do so, please feel free to list if you are observing either the first 7 days, Shiva, the first 30 days, Shloshim, the first year, or Yartzeit. We will continue following the reading of these names. Specialist Daniel J. Agami, U.S. Army, age 25, Coconut Creek, Florida. Sergeant Howard P. Allen, Arizona Army National Guard, age 31, Mesa, Arizona. First Lieutenant David R. Bernstein, U.S. Army, age 24, Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. Corporal Albert Bitton, U.S. Army, age 20, Chicago, Illinois. Sergeant Aaron C. Blum, U.S. Marine Corps, age 22, Tucson, Arizona. Petty Officer Second Class Michael Brodsky, U.S. Navy, age 33, Tamarack, Florida. Petty Officer Third Class Nathan Brookenthal, U.S. Coast Guard, age 24, Smithtown, New York. Technical Sergeant Anthony L. Capra, U.S. Air Force, age 31, Indian Head, Maryland. Sergeant First Class Christopher A. Solis, U.S. Army, age 32, Somerville, South Carolina. Corporal Ryan J. Clark, U.S. Army, age 19, Lancaster, California. Corporal Michael R. Cohen, U.S. Marine Corps, age 23, Jacobus, Pennsylvania. Second Lieutenant Seth J. Voren, U.S. Army, age 24, East Brunswick, New Jersey. Lance Corporal Mark E. Engel, U.S. Marine Corps, age 21, Centennial, Colorado. Corporal Mark A. Evnen, U.S. Marine Corps, age 21, Burlington, Vermont. Private First Class Aaron E. Fairbairn, U.S. Army, age 20, Aberdeen, Washington. First Lieutenant Daniel Farkas, U.S. Army, age 42, Brooklyn, New York. Sergeant Zachary M. Fisher, U.S. Army, age 24, Olin, Missouri. Specialist Jacob S. Fletcher, U.S. Army, age 28, Bayshore, New York. Specialist Daniel J. Freeman, U.S. Army, age 20, Cincinnati, Ohio. Specialist Douglas Green, U.S. Army, age 23, Sterling, Virginia. Sergeant Foster L. Harrington, U.S. Marine Corps, age 31, Fort Worth, Texas. Airman First Class Elizabeth Jacobson, U.S. Air Force, age 21, Riviera Beach, Florida.
Lance Corporal Jeremy M. Kane, U.S. Marines, age 22, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Petty Officer Second Class SEAL Matthew G. Cantor, U.S. Navy, age 22, Gillette, New Jersey. First Lieutenant Nathan M. Krisoff, U.S. Marines, age 25, Reno, Nevada. Staff Sergeant James M. Malakowski, U.S. Marine Corps, age 25, Westminster, Maryland. Private First Class Gebra P. Noonan, U.S. Army, age 26, Watertown, Connecticut. Specialist Levi E. Nuncio, U.S. Army, age 24, Harrisonburg, Virginia. Corporal Michael Aramus, U.S. Army, age 21, Highland, New York. Staff Sergeant Robert J. Paul, U.S. Army Reserve, age 43, The Dalles, Oregon. Major Mark E. Rosenberg, U.S. Army, age 32, Miami Lakes, Florida. Corporal Dustin H. Schrag, U.S. Marine Corps, age 20, Indian Harbor Beach, Florida. First Lieutenant Rosalind L. Schulte, U.S. Air Force, age 25, St. Louis, Missouri. Captain Joseph W. Schultz, U.S. Army, age 36, Port Angeles, Washington. Captain Robert M. Secher, U.S. Marine Corps, age 33, Germantown, Tennessee. Specialist Mark S. Seiden, U.S. Army, age 26, Brigantine, New Jersey. Airman First Class Matthew R. Seidler, U.S. Air Force, age 24, Westminster, Maryland. Staff Sergeant Michael B. Shackelford, U.S. Army, age 25, Grand Junction, Colorado. Private First Class Stephen Shapiro, U.S. Army, age 29, Hidden Valley Lake, California. Sergeant Alan D. Sherman, U.S. Marine Corps Reserve, age 36, Brick, New Jersey. Chief Warrant Officer 2, Joshua Silverman, U.S. Army, age 35, Fort Riley, Kansas. Captain Benjamin A. Sclaver, U.S. Army, age 32, Medford, Massachusetts. Chief Warrant Officer 3, Eric A. Smith, U.S. Army, age 41, Rochester, New York.
Private First Class Eric D. Suffering, U.S. Army, age 20, Woodbridge, Connecticut. First Lieutenant Andrew K. Stern, U.S. Marine Corps, age 24, Germantown, Tennessee. Captain Michael Y. Orlovsky, U.S. Army, age 30, Passaic, New Jersey. Staff Sergeant Peter W. Taub, U.S. Air Force, age 30, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Private First Class Morris L. Walker, U.S. Army, age 23, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Specialist Glenn J. Watkins, Washington Army National Guard, age 42, Carlsbad, California. Technical Sergeant Timothy R. Wiener, U.S. Air Force, age 35, Tamarack, Florida. Sergeant Robert M. Weinger, U.S. Army, age 24, Round Lakes Beach, Illinois. Specialist Jeffrey M. Wershow, Florida Army National Guard, age 22, Gainesville, Florida. Private First Class Colin J. Wolf, U.S. Marine Corps, age 19, Manassas, Virginia. Major Stuart A. Wolfer, U.S. Army, age 36, Coral Springs, Florida. Sergeant Elijah Tai Wa Wong, U.S. Army, age 42, Mesa, Arizona. Specialist Benjamin Ben Yehuda, U.S. Army, age 24, Bogart, Georgia. Senior Airman Jonathan A. V. Yanner, U.S. Air Force, age 29, Lafayette, California. And Lieutenant Miroslav Stephen Zilberman, U.S. Navy, age 31, Columbus, Ohio. If you haven't had an opportunity to share the names that you'd like in the chat box, please do so now. We have any who are observing the passing of someone who recently died and Shiva has not been held. If so, please feel free to unmute yourself for that.
Hi, it's Jason. My uncle Solomon Fishman passed away last week. There's not going to be a Shiva because he no longer celebrated with Jewish tradition.
Thank you. Those in Shiva, first 7 days, or Shloshim, the first 30 days. Yaniv Dotan, those in the first year. Julie Eliason, Dina Eliason, Mardell Taylor, Lozelle Washington, Janine Lester, Julia Poveda. I know that there are other names that you'd like to share aloud as you unmute yourselves at this time.
Brenda Oppenheim.
Hal
Shiglet.
Albert Archibek Jr., Helen Inningus.
Susan Jones.
Arnie Geller.
Bruce Gailey and C.K. Gailey, both veterans, both died from consequences of Agent Orange.
Arnie was a veteran too, captain in the Air Force.
I have the following yard sites. If you have any names to add, please feel free to do so at the conclusion. Ray K. Epps, Arnold Benton, Dr. Harris Cannell, Charlotte Cohn, Louis Bachman, Betty Kellner, Gary Herman, Barry Sokol, Nina Weiss, Beth Gershon, Victor Harbour, Jamie Harbour, Robert Gordon, Noma Dahan, Rose Stein, Sharon R. Martinez, David Maines, Bessie Rubin, Daniel Archibek, Yoni Stawikowski, Philip A. Kustner, Vern Barnett, Sam Miller, Adelaide Selma Goodman, Adolf Baumel, Ben Boasberg, Arthur Goldberg, Marvin Blackman, Benjamin B. Sklar. Any other yard sites being observed on this Shabbat? We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at the season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. We join together in sharing the mourner's Kaddish. The slide is being temperamental. So I would ask you to join me in Kadisha Tom. And if you are observing a yard site or any other observance of passing, feel free to unmute yourselves. And we begin. Yit Kadal,
V'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah.
Bilma,
Dibra Kedute Yam Malchute. V'chai
Khan V'yamechon.
Mechon
Ufchei,
Chaye Dechal Beit Yisrael.
Ba'ala Uzman Kariv Yeromei. Yehi Shmei Rabbah
V'rach Leilon.
V'lo Olomei Omaya.
Yitbarach.
Yishtabach Yitbar Roman Say. Yidhadar V'chaya V'halal Shemer Kudusho Leila Min Kol Birchata B'Shvat Ushpachata V'Nechamata Yahei Shlama Rabba Min Shlamaya Ayinu Malenu V'Kol Yisrael V'Roma
Amen.
Shalom V'Ruma Yasei Shalom Alenu V'Kol Yisrael V'Amru
Amen.
Zichronam Livracha. May their memories be for a blessing, and let us say together.
Amen.
Amen.
Join Cantor Lori in our concluding song, God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Cantor Lori, that brought back wonderful memories of Kate Smith singing that song. I don't know how many go back that far, but truly, it was a beautiful memory, and we thank you. I would like to acknowledge at this time my sincerest appreciation for Toda Rabah, to Cantor Lori, for lending us her voice and her spirit for this evening's service. Thank you, Ryan. I know that I didn't prepare the slides in the way that I probably should have or could have, and so please know that we are grateful for the time and effort that you put forth. Teresa, and leading the candle blessing. Carol, for sharing the prayer. Harvey, Kiddush, and to each of you for your participation in this service. We join you together for the Motzi, and unless I forget to say so at a later moment, we wish you a safe, healthy, and a happy weekend. The Motzi.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in joyful chorus as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Shabbat Shalom. Feel free to unmute and greet one another.
Shabbat Shalom.